Chris, you want to talk about when you first met Penny and what your impressions were?
I was a aspiring filmmaker, artist. I had a loft in Tribeca and had made films and had worked for this surgeon in Michigan that had bought all 16 millimeter equipment and editing equipment, whatever. And I shot films for him for a little bit and then moved to New York with my boyfriend. And I only had like the whole Bolex, which was kind of the silent 16 millimeter camera kit, but it had some really nice lenses and stuff with it. But you know, it was very hard to get sync sound camera equipment at that time. So I thought I would, try to find, somebody who had it and hook up with them. And I remember I went to an early version, any of you who are from New York would know, Film Forum had a theater. It's not where it is now. It was a small theater in the basement on Van Dam Street in New York, and they showed a film that Penny had done with Bob Drew and Associates called Jane, and it was on Jane Fonda, and it was about her first failed Broadway debut. It lasted one day, but it, for me, it was just like a feature film because it had this beautiful actress, it had a dramatic arc. A lot of the early Hollywood films were kind of let's put on a play type of stories. So, I had seen some of the other cinema verite ones, but that one just really, made me go, I can do this. So I went to find Bob Drew, and Bob Drew was very nice. He didn't have a job, but he said, why don't you go up the street and ask Pennebaker? So I went, and Penny was in this, and Nick can say this too, he had like an empire at that point on 45th Street of real estate. I think he had 4 floors or something. And there was no one there, basically, because he had just been on the verge of going bankrupt, which I think Bowie got him out of a little bit. But anyway, he was just sitting in this tiny office and in that 3 floors. And so I just had a really amazing conversation with him about filmmaking. And I went to art school, and I was used to blabbing and expounding on esoteric subjects and whatnot. So we had this conversation, and at the end he said, well, sorry, I don't have a job. And so I left, and then the next day, and I was making money by working in a graphic art firm at that point, he called up and said, actually, I think I do have a job.